I was asking myself, why is it the Zwikanandas were frequenting at Emerson Tambutso Mnangagwa's farm whilst he is on leave? Anyway, we know that they prefer him more than the person who is currently in charge as acting president, and that is none other than retired General Chwenga. As I have said, Mnangagwa is technically not on leave because there are a lot of side shows being done with the ulterior motive of promoting his 2030 term extension, as well as continuing to loot. And it appears at the moment the target to loot now is also Chinese companies. If you look at the regime of Emerson Dambuzo Mnangagwa, it is after money. And where does it get that money? It gets that money from the people through introduction of numerous taxes or taxing regime. But this time around, they are targeting Chinese, whom they initially gave them a green light to mine in alluvial soils. And we know the degradation as well as environmental hazards that have come with that. But it appears they want to target them with the ulterior motive of making them to pay royalties. Guess through who? Through the company of Tungwarara, that is called Prevail Group. It has been looting a lot of monies from the state coffers. I think the person who captures it so awesomely is none other than Mawarire Mbizo Jealousy, and I'll be reading what he has actually posted on his social media account. Greetings and welcome to your lovely channel, the Hlonipani Global News. If you're watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. So he says, fellow Zimbabweans, the looting happening in our country is of gigantic proportions. It is obscene, intolerable, and outrightly criminal. That it's being done with the helping hand of the state apparatus is a disgusting and unfathomable, as it is unsustainable if we want to build this country. Ladies and gentlemen, the Mnangagwa administration isn't about developing the country. It is about looting, primitive accumulation of wealth using the levers of state power and sustaining the looting through illegalities, which include unconstitutional term extensions, capture of the judiciary, and demolition of opposition politics through open purchase of loyalty, bribery, and uncouth political skullduggery, which includes but is not limited to arresting of opponents, assassinations, and rigging of elections. The latest victims to the unscrupulous rent-seeking maneuvers by the Mafiti dynasty and its hangers on like Tungwarara are those in the mining sector, especially Chinese companies which had invested in the sector. There is a new tactic that this regime is devising to collect royalties from gold mining. Companies using Tungwarara's Prevail Group, the first thing that the regime has done is to suspend all alluvial gold mining activities. This has been done ostensibly to make companies comply with alluvial gold mining and river rehabilitation rules that government is proposing. It all seems good at a superficial level until you realize that Prevail Group, owned by Tungwarara, the so-called economic advisor to the president, is exempt. That's where the catch is. The whole plan is to frustrate foreign-owned companies, especially those owned by Chinese investors. Look at this. Make them lose business through the suspension, make them desperate, then force them to work under Prevail Group, which okay, make them to work under Prevail Group, collecting royalties of 10 to 15% every month. Thus the purpose of the ministerial collective and suspension of all alluvial gold mining activities throughout the country's 10 provinces. It is a rent seeking maneuver carefully crafted to give it a veneer of legality through the proposed statutory instruments. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a section of our government that is preoccupied with devising ways to steal from citizens and investors alike. Thus, the work being done by the so-called I will take it up from there. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have a section of our government that is preoccupied with devising ways to steal from citizens and investors alike. That's the work being done by these so-called advisors and businessmen who are now surrounding the state president. Their job is to come up with illegal plans to collect money from treasury, citizens and investors, plans which the president give some semblance of legality by declaring that the criminal activity is a presidential scheme or it's being done under a statutory instrument. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put a stop to this looting, for we know the money being stolen through these presidential schemes is meant to fund the illegal 2030 project. It is the money that is being used to buy cars that the president has been donating to comedians and ZANU-PF factionaries who are fronting his illegal bid for term extension to 2030. We have recently seen the president, a civil servant who officially earns less than $100,000 a year, donating cars worth more than what he earns in his entire term. Where is he getting the money? Clearly, it's a no-brainer. The money is coming from the rent-seeking maneuvers that Tungwarara and his Prevail Group are involved. We have a duty, ladies and gentlemen, to put a stop to the primitive looting of our state by criminals linked to the president. The president has to be stopped. He has to be impeached for what he has allowed to happen during his tenure as president of republic. Then here is the memo that was stopping the alluvial soil mining. It was written on the 5th of January, still a fresh letter by the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development. And it is addressed to these following ministries. Honorable OCZ Muchinguri Kashiri, that is the Minister of Defense. I think the military will be used also to enforce this new rule by Mnangagwa. Honorable Indlovu, Minister of Environment, Climate and Wildlife. Honorable P.K. Mbamura, Minister of Mines and Mining Development. Honorable, they are also involving the Central Intelligence Organization. Honorable Elmut Matuke, Minister of State Security. They are also involving the police also. Honorable K. Kazembe, Minister of Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage. It is quoted MLAFWRD 2/1. It says ministers of state for provincial and devolution, they have also quoted them. Manicaland, Honorable M. Gaza, Mashonaland Central, Honorable C. Magomo, Mashonaland West, Honorable M. Chombo, Mashonaland East, Honorable Ayenduzo Maswingo, Honorable E. Chazamira, and then Matipeleland South, Honorable A. Ngulube, Midlands, Honorable Ongube, Bulawayo, Honorable J. Ngube, Harare Metropolitan, Honorable C. Tawengwa. Now, Tabengwa, all right, I think I got it right. It says implementation of the cabinet directive on suspension of alluvial mining river rehabilitation throughout the country. It says, Honorable Ministers, reference is made to previous communications meetings held and resolution made regarding the suspension of alluvial mining and the river rehabilitation program. This communication serves to remind you, Honorable Ministers, that alluvial mining and the river ecosystem rehabilitation program remains suspended until further notice. Currently, work is in progress regarding the gazetting of statutory instruments to ensure the polluter pays principle is legally enforceable and to guide the river rehabilitation process. The only company that has been given green light, listen to this, the only company that has been given green light to undertake river rehabilitation as a prototype is Prevail Group of Companies at Murodzi River in Mashonaland. So this is the company for Tungwarara. As a prototype, Mashonaland Center. As such, the company should not be given a mandate for further river rehabilitation outside this Murodzi river approved prototype, pending further guidance. Honorable Ministers, no company should be awarded a contract to carry out river rehabilitation across the provinces. The approval of proposed companies should be guided by the Interministerial Committee agreement that only the Minister of Environment, Climate and Wildlife has authority to issue rehabilitation permits. Meanwhile, as agreed in the interministerial meeting, please ensure that prospective companies for rehabilitations are submitted to the Working Party Clearinghouse. All outstanding site-specific rehabilitation plans should also be submitted. This letter was, a picture was taken, it was clipped. May I also bring to the attention of the National JOG Chairman and Minister of State of National Security the purported illegal alluvial mining rehabilitation activities, especially in Mashonaland West, Mashonaland Central, and Manicaland provinces, and plead with the security cluster to expeditiously stop such activities. So they will use the military as well as the police and the Central Intelligence Organization to stop other companies, none other than the Prevail Group, from doing alluvial mining. It is the company of Tungwarara which will be working, and as you have read from what Jelas Mawarire has actually put forward, that the plot is actually to subject these companies under the Prevail Group of Tungwarara, and then Tungwarara would be subjecting these companies to 10, that is between 10 to 15% royalties that they have to pay, and these royalties definitely, we know if they are paid, they are going to Mnangagwa. You know why Mnangagwa is doing this? The man has been wasting a lot of money. He has been wasting a lot of money through his 2030 months, but it has taken almost 3 now, because in 2024, beginning of 2024, they started this campaign. There was his first conference in Bulawayo, and then in March, Blessed Geza resurfaced. In 2025, they couldn't implement it. They were bound to implement it towards December. It has been delayed up to this day. So a lot of monies are being spent. That is why. And also, I think this makes us to understand the relationship between Owen Mnangagwa and Tungwarara. Owen Mnangagwa has been in mining for a long period of time, controlling mines. So him working with Tungwarara, it does make sense. and preferring Tungwarara over Budawashe Takwirei. Thank you very much for watching us. If you are watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. You can financially support this channel by pressing the join button and be part of our members who are the heartbeat of this channel. You can equally do so by pressing the thanks button and send us stars. Umhlabane is signing out. Let me love and leave you. Let's meet on the other side of the live broadcast as I